abusuya honorable Okoe nsɛmbi abatu dware so okasa no timu se abufom na okasa ene awrehom na okasa ne nyina fa chief justice Gertrude Araba Isaba tokunu na say no onye suspended bi ya sakre ya pam no every na adwuma mu na abusuya ene no de abatu dware say one of the main reason e gina so pam madam yi ene say wotu kwan ede ne baba aka ho enti no ade no otu kwan na say wode ne ba aka ho na ne busuafo aka ho eno ye one of the main key ebusu ye gina so ye pam no ifo na eno Okoboye betena se kasa say Ghana de egu ehu fia enye asempo to say president mu ko ba bia osre buso ontimi efa na ire enka ho okwa nye ontimi fa ne ma enka ho wo se no so akwa dante the head of parliament Alban Bagbin also to kwanya ontimi enfa profo nka ho onfa ne bank account enebusua nsema chese Okoboy edi tudwa no timu se emu odu a chese nipa etras ni analyzing here chese nsem no busua ayi bibiri come ho.
Some of the things they enjoy, almost say, I'll give you an example. All of them retire on their salary.
Yes.
Alban Bagbin retires on salary.
Yes.
That's not the point.
Oh, Prez.Mahama, before he came, he was taking the salary of the city president, not even when he was president too. Justice Stockholm retires on salary. The other arm, when they are traveling, don't they travel with their spouse? Oh, God have mercy.
That is not the
so
point.
If Obi see the contradiction, Prez.Mahama took choir. And I grant him only bonnie or the Yamami Lodina as on some of the children took wine. Sebi wa ye juma di ama nyami dina duha and your bonnie and bonnie saying that mamia why ye law a juma over 40 years. Oh please, Obi.
No, but the travel policy allows the pay.
Obi,
wow, but please.
What am on so on no one yadria?
Yes.
On send it.
Who's a now only bibi. Me the lawyer you go to Bonkomo.
Yeah.
The lawyer for Justice Stockholm.
Sure.
Or me uncle to me friend. Or see Dr. Okoboy, Mamin Kacho Bibi. Yeah, the policy to panel name say policy judicial council judicial service. Our former chief justice are using say oh to choir. Oh the spouse echo. But the Emma or Musisa can say instead of spouse, you can go with one person of your choosing.
Or one other person.
Yeah, chief justice bia. No, not by divine way, no, or any spouse.
Only spouse.
And I didn't know said here. Yeah, cross spouse, banzo nibi. And I say okay. And yeah, made it. No be. One. Yeah, kasa up to a no. No NDC person is referring to the travel policy of the judiciary. Obi, I want to dare the judicial service within 48 hours. They should publish as we speak. What's his name? Bafuboni.
Yes.
Acting. What to come me so to come minister waba. Police you mujina so di tu and the we want to see that police. Obi. Oh Obi, let me tell you something. Yen di no kwari o my way mu. Now there are two categories of people. Udi omo bonia. Pray that the Lord will have mercy on you. A widow and a woman who sits in judgment are ordinary query.
How Jesus
Obi,
Christ.
now him, she never hear Pama no. Obi o judge penny. Ye can say the Bible. Yes, you the kum. Sebi, and you be mabi, but no kum to kwine. Meanwhile, more letter. The president who has written to sack Justice Stockholm because Stockholm traveled the husband travels with the wife.
But that's not the point.
Now, Obi,
No.
Again, look.
Obi,
let me complete. Obi, I will dare state protocol and those who handle presidential travel. I dare them. They should bring travels made by Lodina Imam's first term, not even this term. And I challenge them, say, on paper, documents on the state will make provision for per diem. Obi, now, me say, now you see, one of the ways to know, say, Obi per se on causing mischief. Now, I say, or a solid case, so we go after a chief justice, is to start laying hands on straw. Share the other one.
Transfer.
Now, transfer, no, Obi, before I even come to transfer, recommendation, Obi, me the justice lawyer, you go to, or say, my men say, or no lawyer head of the judicial service, or the Supreme Court is born common. Say cases no bo munim eno mo na ma no ejuma no minimum So ideally, omunya some numbers are a bit bomb a jumano ako kama because people complain the case is in the chair. And are presenting this feedback from them by way of recommendation or status report to the president. And the president said, well, if this is it, then go through the motions so that we can know how to beef up the numbers.
Oh, Boye,
now, Obi,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yes, discretion. Obi, discretion. When you write a recommendation, is it a discretionary power that is enforceable and actually actuated?
No.
Oh, when you be ya battle say Oko. But you know what? I would like to console the woman with the story of Lot and Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
When Abraham realized, say, his followers and Lot's men were fighting, because his nephew, he called him, say, come, watch the north, east, west, and south. Choose where you want. And he chose what physically looked like the best place. But when he went there with his men, what did God tell Abraham? God said, now look west, look east, north, and south, including by extension where Lot was. The one who ultimately gives rewards or punishes is the Almighty. If this woman is guilty, obviously she's guilty before Prez.Mahama. But if before the maker of the heavens and earth, this woman is not, the end will be better than this today. She should take heart. Now, you know, human beings, we don't learn. My senior brother, Domelovlo, when he was removed, many people rose to fight for him. If I were him, I should have denied being included in this panel. Because you were removed from office before your time. And you were asked to be part of a process that will get someone out before their time. If I were him, I would have rescinded or, how do you call it?
Opted out of the committee.
Yes. And if only he's the one who wrote that on Facebook, when I saw it, I said, wow, the gods would speak definitely. That the battle is what? Done. Mm-hmm. The strife is over. Why do you describe this as a strife? When you are going through a process to determine right or wrong, why do you call it a strife? I'm not surprised because he has a history. And I'm not saying it's bitter, but he feels, and it looks so, that he feels that he was removed unjustifiably. So if you are saying that there is a strife for someone who you think was also active those days, do I call it a vendetta, Obi? Now, Obi, what I'll say going forward, say, those who say the law is the law, you know the interesting thing, when Charlotte Osei was removed, was the law the law?
Obviously.
Charlotte didn't say that.
But Obi, although the law was the law, we had people, including Prez.Mahama and the NDC, who said that there is mischief behind this process. Is that not it? Mm-hmm. If then the law, being the law, could be mischievous, what shows that today the law being the law is also not mischievous? Mm-hmm. But like I said, the woman, wherever she is, should take heart, like David strengthened himself in the Lord. Just as Domelovlo down the line sat in judgment, trying to do things that was done to him, maybe she might also sit in judgment tomorrow. Like Ghanaian listening to Okoe this afternoon, wishes for, or would have been excited about, is for a judge who's going to take money and not letting the law work, but all the bribes. You see, permanent. And you do make us with Prez.Mahama, but when you have a history of being a political party, much say Moody, Mameno, and some judges were problem in opposition. Look, Prez.Mahama met lawyers. These are all facts, and said, "I didn't know any balance. I was a Muslim be balance. Them balance in Ayekano. Service political party balance. Obi. There's a history. So the point I'm making is, I wish those people who were around John Mills, may so rest in peace. I wish my uncle Prez.Mahama had some of them. Why am I saying so? There were people who told President Mills that sack Wood, Georgina, she has to go. In fact, to the extent that on you be beside the question face to face, meet the press. And our papa say, why are you still keeping Georgina Wood? And when I mean say, look, young man, okay, papa na come out to you because I want the president to say, look at my face. Can you see my face? Do I look like a cat hunter?
A cat hunter.
And look, the summary of there are many ways of killing a cat. It means that if you want to get her out, you can find a way to what? Get out. Now, Obi.
Georgina Wood is a lady.
Obi, yes. Obi, Unim.
Yes.
I feel sad for Justice Tokono because I know in my heart, says Sebi, on your political activists like Okoe. I don't want to swear, but I know, say, Mami Way, make sure, say, apart from going to a polling booth vote, she had nothing to do with politicians. But I see that largely her sins were too. The mere fact that Akufo-Addo appointed her is one of her sins. Oh, say me come at you, say I can't
Sure.
Obi. Another sin that this woman committed, in fact, there were 3, is that when you talk to people, Obi, me a doctor, and so I speak to some lawyers. Apparently, Ghana ha, your culture be. Oya akwara in court, a juma be a age, ever from Kakra, Obe mu be away 10 years. Now, edumu omu 20 years. Now, edu overall boss be mawa, eya sem kesemao. I've talked to some people who tell me that some of the problem she had was that she was relatively young compared to some of.
There were other senior judges on the
Obi.
Supreme Court bench.
We must get the context. And the third one is the first time I started asking my colleagues, who is this woman, was at the 2020 election petition. Obi,
sure.
Some of her questions were pointing. Obisa question per question no unravel nyama. Now ultimately won't say politicians now omuwo a particular position no mamene approach no na enye one day. Ghana na eti aye free. Na unanimous FC obi free. Oh, mami we nyame mboano. You have politicians who went to court to play a psychological game because I'm a physician. They lost an election because they want their followers not to lose hope. They went to court and said that we didn't lose, we were robbed. When they got to the court, Obi, even if it had been Fachemi, footballers, doctors, if I was a Supreme Court judge, the case was so clear. Say, unlike 2012 Akufo-Addo, where there was 5-4, also decisions were split. Yeah. Because some of the cases we made that, say, hey, I do where I say, yet not just a whole presiding officer one sign, no what the law says that shall sign. Those things didn't happen in 2020. It would have been unanimous even for footballers, doctors, teachers, and nurses. Now, so I politics in tea. Obi person who say, oh, you're winning, and I'm an umpire. They say, oh, court judges waiting, I'm only a unanimous FC. Obi. That thing had a way of putting them in the bad light to some of their followers. There's a background. And no one just say some of them Sebi Omoko and some money by the Ebeji. And I will not mention the lawyer's name. There's an interesting coincidence. Lawyer na Justice Tokono Abisa said, Papa, they who can yentina afibo constrained to the point in them sometimes opening the court or behaving the way as a mammy way hammy, mammy way den office or Tokono committee lawyer only the petitioners. Obi Sebi you know understand ambi. It's not a coincidence. Or the mammy ya same and a complainant na odi adibaye no ono odi nenim na Obi mobile say ya pamo yesi dem e baye a Obi sebi Fachemi enye say sebi okofa 2 kura na odi 2 kwan Fachemi Chemi
sure
ba okura odi ni tif
no na sem so it is utie now share on my YouTube channel.
Be the first to know and send PT